Did you know that after age 65, social isolation kills faster than heart disease, smoking, or obesity combined? It's a silent epidemic that's claiming thousands of lives every year. Yet most seniors don't recognize the warning signs until it's too late. What makes this tragedy even worse is that many doctors miss these critical signals too, focusing instead on obvious physical symptoms while the deadly effects of isolation quietly take their toll. In this video, I'll reveal the 6 critical warning signs that indicate you're at dangerously high risk for isolation, and exactly what to do to protect yourself before it's too late. Let me tell you about Harold, a 67-year-old retired accountant who seemed perfectly healthy on paper. After his retirement and his wife's passing 2 years earlier, Harold maintained what looked like a normal life from the outside. He kept his house immaculate, prepared his own meals, and even drove himself to routine medical appointments where his doctors always gave him a clean bill of health. But behind closed doors, Harold was living in near-complete isolation. Days would pass without him speaking to another human being. His children called occasionally but lived across the country. His neighbors barely knew him. Then, suddenly, Harold was found unresponsive in his home after missing a scheduled doctor's appointment. Despite having no major health issues previously, he had suffered a massive stroke. The emergency physician later told Harold's shocked family that social isolation was likely the primary factor in his sudden decline. His body was healthy, the doctor explained, but isolation was killing him from the inside. Warning sign. 1. You've gone more than 3 days without a meaningful conversation. When was the last time you had a real conversation that lasted more than 5 minutes? Not small talk about the weather, not answering a clerk's questions at the store, but a genuine exchange of thoughts and feelings. If you can't remember, or if it's been more than 3 days, you're experiencing one of the most dangerous warning signs of deadly isolation. Researchers at Harvard Medical School have discovered that extended periods without meaningful verbal interaction actually change your brain chemistry, reducing cognitive function and weakening your neurological pathways. Dr. Rebecca Mitchell, lead neurologist on the study, explains, "The human brain requires social interaction to maintain healthy function. After just 72 hours without meaningful conversation, we see measurable changes in brain activity that mimic early cognitive decline." Consider what happened to Evelyn, a 73-year-old retired librarian living alone in a suburban neighborhood. She prided herself on her independence, regularly running errands and keeping up with her household chores. But when her daughter visited after several months away, she noticed her mother's speech seemed slower, her responses delayed. Concerned, she asked her mother about her daily routine. It turned out Evelyn's only regular interactions were brief exchanges with cashiers and delivery people. Without realizing it, she'd gone weeks without a single meaningful conversation. Within days of increasing her social interaction, her daughter noticed dramatic improvements in her mother's cognitive sharpness. Here's what you must do immediately. Implement the 3-7-3 communication method. First, identify 3 people you can reach out to regularly: family members, old friends, or even neighbors. Second, contact at least one of these people every 7 days without fail. Third, ensure each conversation lasts at least 3 minutes, long enough to engage your neural pathways. If you don't have 3 people to call, reach out to community organizations or senior centers today. Many offer friendly visitor programs or phone check-in services specifically designed to combat isolation. Don't wait until next week or when you feel more social. Your brain needs this interaction now. Warning, sign. 2. Your phone calls have decreased by more than 50%. How many phone calls did you receive last week? Now compare that to a year ago. Has the number dropped by half or more? This decline isn't just sad, it's medically dangerous. Mayo Clinic researchers have established a direct correlation between the frequency of phone calls seniors receive and their mortality rates. Their groundbreaking study tracked phone records of participants over a 5-year period and found that seniors whose incoming calls decreased by more than 50% experienced a 31% higher mortality rate, even when controlling for pre-existing health conditions. Dr. James Wilson, geriatric specialist at Mayo Clinic, warns, a sudden or gradual decline in phone communication is often the first measurable sign of dangerous social disconnection. The data is clear. Fewer calls correlate with shorter lives. Take Russell, a 70-year-old retired teacher who noticed his phone rarely rang anymore. After hearing about the Mayo Clinic study, he decided to track his calls for a month. The results shocked him. He'd received only 4 calls, all from telemarketers or appointment reminders. A year earlier, he'd regularly received calls from colleagues, former students, and friends. The isolation had happened so gradually he hadn't noticed, but his health had started to reflect it. Increasing blood pressure, disrupted sleep, and unexplained anxiety. Here's your immediate action plan. Implement the contact revival technique today. First, make a list of 10 people you haven't spoken to in the past 3 months, old colleagues, distant family members, former neighbors. Next, reach out to one person from this list every 3 days with a specific purpose. Don't just call to catch up. Ask for a recipe, share an article you thought they'd enjoy, or inquire about something specific to their life or interests. This purposeful approach makes the conversation easier and more meaningful for both parties. Even if you consider yourself an introvert, this technique works because it focuses on brief, purposeful exchanges rather than artificial socializing. Start your list right now, even before this video ends, and make your first call today. Warning sign 3. You eat more than 80% of your meals alone. Does the thought of eating alone again tonight fill you with dread? Or worse, has it become so normal you don't even think about it anymore? If you're eating more than 8 out of 10 meals by yourself, you're facing a serious health risk that goes far beyond emotional loneliness. The world's leading longevity researchers from the Blue Zones study have identified that sharing meals with others is one of the most consistent factors in communities where people regularly live past 100. Dr. Elena Sanchez, nutritional anthropologist, explains, eating alone doesn't just affect your mental health, it fundamentally changes how your body processes food. Digestion efficiency, nutrient absorption, and metabolic regulation all suffer when meals are consistently consumed in isolation. Consider Catherine, a 76-year-old widow who had been eating alone for nearly 5 years after her husband's passing. Despite maintaining a healthy diet, she struggled with unexplained digestive issues, weight loss, and increasing weakness. Her doctor ran numerous tests but found no clear medical cause. Then Catherine joined a twice-weekly community lunch program. Within just 1 month, her digestive problems improved, her energy increased, and she gained back healthy weight. The physical act of sharing meals had changed her body's relationship with food. Here's what you need to do today. Implement the meal connection strategy, even if you live alone. First, schedule at least 3 shared meals per week. This can be at a community center with a neighbor or even at a regular table at a local diner where staff and other regulars will recognize you. Second, if transportation is challenging, look into meal delivery programs that include volunteer visitors who sit with you during the meal. Many are free or low cost for seniors. Third, consider starting a simple lunch group where everyone brings 1 item, reducing the burden of cooking a complete meal. The key is commitment. Put these shared meals on your calendar and treat them as non-negotiable medical appointments because in terms of your health, that's exactly what they are. Warning sign 4. Your doctor doesn't know your first name without checking the chart. The next time you visit your doctor, watch carefully. Do they greet you by name as soon as they enter the room, or do they glance at your chart first? This might seem trivial, but it reveals something critical about your isolation risk. Research from Johns Hopkins Medicine shows that socially connected patients receive significantly better healthcare than isolated individuals. The study found that doctors spend an average of 22% more time with patients they perceive as socially engaged and order more comprehensive testing for these individuals. Dr. Thomas Reynolds, geriatric care specialist, warns, when physicians don't recognize patients by name, it often indicates the patient lacks advocates and social connections. These patients receive less thorough care and experience worse outcomes for identical conditions. Consider Walter, a 77-year-old who prided himself on his independence. During a routine checkup, he realized his doctor of 3 years still referred to his chart before addressing him. On the advice of his neighbor, Walter began bringing a friend to appointments and joined a patient advocacy group at his hospital. Within 6 months, not only did his doctor know his name, but Walter was receiving more thorough exams and more detailed explanations of his treatment options. His health outcomes improved dramatically. Here's your immediate action plan. Implement the medical ally approach before your next appointment. First, never go to important medical appointments alone. Bring a family member, friend, or even a hired patient advocate. Research shows that patients accompanied by others receive more attentive care. Second, engage more actively with medical staff. Learn the names of nurses and assistants and share brief personal stories that help them see you as an individual. Third, join a patient group associated with your healthcare provider or a condition you manage. Being recognized as part of a community changes how medical professionals perceive and treat you. Don't wait until your next scheduled appointment. Call today to join a patient group or arrange for a companion for your next visit. Warning sign 5. You haven't learned a new skill in over 6 months. When was the last time you learned something new, not just read about it, but actually developed a new skill? If it's been more than 6 months, your brain is sending you a dangerous warning signal about isolation. Neuroscientists at Stanford University's Center for Longevity have demonstrated that learning new skills is not just cognitively beneficial, but also a critical indicator of social connectivity. Their research shows that skill acquisition after age 65 almost always involves social interaction, and its absence strongly correlates with harmful isolation. Dr. Alexander Morris, neuropsychologist, explains, "The aging brain requires novel challenges to maintain health, but what many don't realize is that skill learning and social connection are neurologically intertwined. Seniors who stop learning new skills have almost always become dangerously isolated." Take Doris, a 68-year-old who realized she hadn't attempted to learn anything new since retirement 3 years earlier. She also rarely left her home, except for essential errands. At her daughter's urging, she joined a beginner's watercolor class at a local art store. Not only did the new skill stimulate her mind, but the class environment naturally created social connections. Within weeks, she had exchanged phone numbers with 2 classmates and was meeting regularly for coffee outside of class. Her daughter noticed remarkable improvements in her memory, energy, and mood. Here's what you must do today. Implement the micro-learning method specifically designed for seniors. First, choose a skill that naturally involves others. Cooking classes, language learning groups, or musical instrument lessons work particularly well. Second, commit to just 2 hours per week. Research shows this is enough to trigger the neurological and social benefits without feeling overwhelming. Third, choose in-person learning environments whenever possible rather than online options. The face-to-face interaction amplifies both the cognitive and social benefits. Local community colleges, senior centers, and recreation departments offer affordable classes specifically for older adults. Don't delay this critical step. Find and register for a class or group lesson today. Warning sign. 6. You haven't touched another person in over 72 hours. When was the last time you experienced physical contact with another human being? Not just a quick handshake, but a real hug, a hand on your shoulder, or even a genuine handshake that lasts more than a second. If it's been more than 3 days, you're experiencing what scientists call touch starvation, and it's literally killing you. Research from the University of California's Department of Neuroscience has identified a condition they call skin hunger that affects over 68% of Americans over 65 living alone. Their studies show that extended periods without physical touch cause measurable increases in stress hormones, inflammation markers, and blood pressure. Dr. Jennifer Adams, touch research specialist, warns, humans are biologically designed to require physical contact. Without it, the body enters a stress state similar to starvation, triggering inflammation and immune suppression. For seniors, the health consequences can be severe and rapid. Consider Benjamin, a 74-year-old widower who lived alone and prided himself on his self-sufficiency. After experiencing unusual fatigue and persistent minor infections, comprehensive medical tests revealed severely elevated cortisol levels and inflammatory markers. His doctor asked when he'd last experienced physical contact with another person. Benjamin couldn't remember. It had been months. His doctor referred him to a therapeutic massage program designed for seniors. After just 6 weekly sessions, his inflammatory markers decreased by 32% and his immune function showed significant improvement. Here's your action plan. First, recognize that appropriate physical contact is a health necessity, not a luxury. Schedule a weekly professional therapeutic massage, which has been clinically proven to provide the physiological benefits of touch in a safe, appropriate setting. Many insurance plans now cover these services when recommended by a physician. Second, consider a trained therapy animal. Research shows that petting animals provides many of the same neurological benefits as human touch. Third, be proactively affectionate with friends and family. Offer hugs when greeting them, or touch a hand or shoulder during conversation. Most importantly, don't let pride or independence prevent you from seeking this basic human need. The physical and emotional benefits are too important to ignore. The 6 warning signs we've discussed, going days without meaningful conversation, decreasing phone calls, eating alone, doctors not knowing your name, not learning new skills, and touch starvation, aren't just inconveniences. They're medical emergencies that require immediate action. By implementing the specific strategies for each warning sign, the 3-7-3 communication method, contact revival technique, meal connection strategy, medical ally approach, micro-learning method, and appropriate touch solutions, you can reverse isolation's deadly effects starting today. Don't wait until your health begins to fail. These simple, practical steps can literally add years to your life and dramatically improve your well-being. If you recognized any of these warning signs in your own life, please hit the like button now and comment below which one resonated most with you. Your comment might help someone else recognize their own isolation risk. Subscribe to our channel for more vital information that could save your life or the life of someone you love, and share this video with family and friends who might be showing these warning signs. It could be the most important thing you do for them this year.